A good overtime win for the St. Louis Blues.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today is Wednesday, December 11th. And I have a lot to talk about today. The Blues win over the Canucks, the OT win, recapping the road trip, and then San Jose tomorrow on home ice. We have so much to go over, and I am so excited to talk to you about everything going on today. But you can start off the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I hope everybody is having a great day today. By me, it's been pouring rain, so if you hear rain in the background, please ignore that. But I want to talk to you about the Blues' 4-3 overtime win against the Vancouver Canucks in last night's contest. It was a late night game, so I did tell you all that I was going to watch the game today, which I did. I got my sleep, I woke up, and I watched Blues hockey. So I have a couple takeaways from this game, obviously, that I'm going to share with you about, but just to give you that little bit of a recap. In about the first 8 minutes, Dakota Joshua was able to get Vancouver on the board, making it 1-0. Less than a minute later, Zachary Bolduc was able to tie up the game, and he got assisted by Dylan Holloway with a nice feed. Then shorthanded, Robert Thomas scored and made the game 2-1. In the second period, Jordan Kyrou got a power play goal. Then a couple minutes later on Vancouver's power play, yet again, Peterson was able to make it a 1-goal difference. So the Blues still led 3-2 heading into the final frame. Final frame, oh, look who it is. It's Jake DeBrusk, and he was able to make it 3-3. We head to OT, and I have to tell you, the magic of Dylan Holloway keeps on happening. Fed the puck by Thomas, Holloway scores, and that is how the Blues won 4-3 in last night's contest. Joel Hofer was in net for St. Louis. Demko was in net for the Canucks. But it was definitely one of those games where the Blues seemed to have a lot of control. And I was actually very happy with how the Blues played in last night's contest. I thought that getting a shorthanded goal, obviously, that's huge. And especially Robert Thomas. I believe that this is his 5th goal of the season. And I know you might say, Hale, that's not a lot. But don't forget, he did miss a lot of time of hockey for what it's worth. So for me, I'm happy. It was a good win. And they got the 2 points. And yeah, like it sucked because the Blues were leading 3-1 at one point. However, at the end of the day, the Blues, as I said, were able to walk away with those 2 points, and that is what matters. Now, if you want my honest opinion on the game, I think that for me, a big player that stood out to me was Dylan Holloway. Besides his OT goal, he was actually more aggressive around the net. And one of the goals, I believe it was the first goal I want to say Vancouver scored. It might have been the second, but Ryan Suter was looking for Colton Parayko because I don't think he thought Parayko was on the ice. So there would have been like that, extra man on the ice call. So he was a little slow getting back. But other than that, no one really stood out to me. And that's not something that I can fault him on. It was just more something that I was like, you know what? It is what it is. And Robert Thomas did have a 3-point game, okay? And we have to remind ourselves that this is a player that is special. He is a player that does a lot of good things and he generates plays, but I'm just really impressed with Robert Thomas, especially him coming back and just really being full force at it. And to me, that was a complete positive. So yeah, I was really happy about that. I'm just pulling up my notes that I have. I always take notes when I watch the game. I am the worst person, by the way, to watch a game with because I'm always like typing. Um, Anyways, after the game, Dylan Holloway said, "It's never a bad play to take the puck to the net. I saw that they were on a change, so I knew I could beat the guy flat-footed there and going to the net. I think their defenseman thought I was going to pass it, and I think the goalie thought I was going to pass it too at first, and I thought I was going to pass it as well. But when you are in tight, just try to get it up." And that's the best way to describe it. I mean, it was one of those goals I had to do like a little bit of a rewind when I was rewatching the game because it did look like he was going to pass the puck. So even when Dylan Holloway said that after the game, I'm like, okay. So I wasn't crazy. He did look like he was going to pass the puck. And Robert Thomas, again, was able to feed him the puck. So that was good. Joel Hofer, by the way, made 22 saves for the Blues. Okay. So it was really good. And now the Blues are 5-1-1 since hiring Coach Montgomery. So proud of that. Coach spoke and he said, "We played a really good game, maybe our best complete game of the year. I thought Vancouver played well. And it's nice to beat a playoff team when they're playing well. And we were able to overcome some adversity in the game, momentum swings, and pull it out in the end." So, again, another big thing for the Blues. I mean, Vancouver has a lot of talent. There is no denying that whatsoever. And I'm not taking that away from any player in Vancouver. I think they're actually a very talented team. And despite the fact that the Blues did have the lead, at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, you know what? This game could go either way. And I think that's why I wasn't so confident heading into that final frame, at least. But I have to tell you, I did feel really good about it. And it's so weird seeing Jake DeBrusk now in a Vancouver sweater, not a Bruins, by the way. That was weird for me, at least. But it's funny because I was thinking about it, and Coach Montgomery obviously knows Jake. And I'm like, oh, it's just, how it goes sometimes. But anyways, getting back on track, I feel like Vancouver did have momentum at times, and the Blues really did a good job. I'm kind of shutting that down in a sense. But that final frame, it felt like Vancouver. It felt all like Vancouver. And then luckily in overtime, the Blues were able to get the puck in the net. But I mean, there was a moment where I'm like, oh my God, they're going to blow this game. And that was my thought the whole time. I hate shootouts. I love shootouts when it's other teams. When it's my team, I hate it. And Thomas was asked about what has changed, and he said confidence in making plays. Some of our younger guys have taken big steps. Holloway and Bolduc have been playing lights out the last 6-7 games, and they've been leading the way for scoring depth. And our whole lineup is just clicking right now. So it's really good that, Thomas can at least acknowledge that. And I think that's like the nice thing too, is that at the end of the day, and I'm going to talk about this in my upcoming topic here on Locked On Blues, but I think that this team has endured some changes lately, as we know, and I think that it's just one of those situations where the team has fully embraced Coach Montgomery, and besides that, they're playing as a team. Something has changed, and I know I'm like quoting Wicked, something has changed within me, but like something has changed within the Blues because this is a team that looks motivated, that looks ready. They're playing with excitement. And it's so nice to see that within your own hockey team. So, again, I cannot praise the Blues enough. You know how I feel. I love my STL Blues. But you know what I also love? I love FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So let's go talk about this road trip, right? Because I can talk about last night's game and I can praise all the good things that came out of the game last night because I really can. I thought it was a really good game. But anywho, what I'm most impressed about is that the boys started this road trip out December 3rd. It's December 11th now. And they finished 3-1-0, which to me says a lot of good things. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hail that Edmonton game. Like, come on. But you can always find positives, right? And for me, the positive in the Edmonton game was Dylan Holloway scoring on his former team. I thought that was kind of neat. But again, we look at the win over the Jets, a 4-1 victory. The Flames, kind of like the Canucks, a 4-3 overtime win. You lose to the Oilers 4-2, and then you beat the Canucks in OT 4-3. This road trip, honestly, has showed me a lot of things. You were playing some good hockey teams, okay? You were able to face adversity. I think for the Blues, this was a team a month ago that looked like they could win the NHL lottery and be worse than like maybe the Predators, honestly. Nashville is doing bad. I hate to change the topic, but I did tell you that Nashville was not going to have a good season, and look what's happening. But anyways, I think that it was very easy to make the assumption that this hockey team was not going to be good, that they wouldn't be competitive, that they wouldn't be winning games. But they proved every one of us wrong in this past couple weeks. I think that this road trip too, you got to see the Blues fight hard, especially not the Jets, but especially the Flames game and the Canucks game. Anytime you have to go to overtime, I mean, I think about they went to overtime with Philadelphia here. I mean, I know Coach Montgomery just got hired, right? November 25th was his debut, right? Rangers, Blues beat them. Blues beat the Devils, OT against the Flyers, right? They beat the Jets, they beat the Flames. They lost to the Flyers in OT, by the way. I don't know if I said that. They lost to the Oilers, and then they beat the Canucks. So the only two teams that they lost to were Philadelphia and Edmonton. But in Philadelphia, they got the points. So they've only lost 3 points since Coach Montgomery has been here, which is pretty impressive. I mean, let's do some simple math right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14 points. So minus 3, 11 out of 14 points. I'm fine with that. That is actually pretty good. And if you're going to argue and be like, oh, that's not good enough, think about it like this. How were they doing before Coach Montgomery? Was this team playing well? Was this team winning multiple games in a row? Not really. So I think that this is a step for this hockey team in a direction that they needed to go in. And I'm going to be the one to say it. This road trip just further proves that Doug Armstrong made the right decision in getting Coach Montgomery to be here in St. Louis. And I will stand by that because I truly do believe that this hockey team needed this, that they needed this motivation, that they needed this pick-me-up in a way. And at least for me, I'm a fan. We know that. However, I can also look at things objectively, and I can confidently say this is a changed hockey team. The Edmonton loss, yeah, that sucks, but it is what it is. And Coach Montgomery said, the whole team has surprised me. with their willingness to grow, their willingness to get better, their willingness to compete. I'm excited about what we can become. And, I've watched different videos and seen things of like how coach interacts with the players and the amount of respect that they have for him. And they're so attentive with how they listen to him. He captivates the room. And, I know that right now you might be like, Hale, it's just how all the teams react when there's a new coach and a coaching change. I disagree, actually. I think that this is something quite special. So for me, I'm personally really happy about what's going on. I think that right now the Blues are actually performing so much better than I would have given them credit for. And I think that this is something special. So, by the way, Dylan Holloway has a career high 7.7 game point streak, which is unbelievable. So, in 7 games, 6 goals, 11 points, and then 2 game winning goals, which is unbelievable. So, when Edmonton fans, because I made a video, it was a little bit of a clickbait thumbnail, but like I wanted to have some Edmonton fan comments. Why not? Because I'm still petty. Because honestly, when we got Holloway and Broberg, they were so nasty to us. But Dylan Holloway is a great player. Like he truly is a talented player. And I still see Edmonton fans being like, he's not good. He's not a good player. And I'm like, look what he's doing here in St. Louis. And then somebody said that St. Louis wasn't a real hockey team, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure the Blues, who won a Stanley Cup way before you, I know, but like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be too petty, but like, at least have some decency and respect for the fact that he's thriving. But I guess they're not. I mean, like, I wouldn't do that if it was another player, but, I also don't see why the national media doesn't understand how clutch Robert Thomas is. I mean, his efficiency too, with that shorthanded goal and how he just got down the ice and was able just to bank it right in. I think that the NHL sleeps on Robert Thomas, and I'm so mad that he's on Team Canada. And this further proves my point about why I think Robert Thomas should be on Team Canada. But the nice thing is that Coach Montgomery sees this team having a bright future. He sees the potential in them. And that is something that gives me hope. Maybe it's not this season. Maybe it's next season. Maybe the season after. But it seems like there is a direction for this team, a direction for success. And I think that the last couple seasons, it's kind of sucked, right? I love being a Blues fan, 100%. But I also like winning. And I also like playoff hockey. And I feel like with Coach Montgomery, the Blues are going to get that back. I know it is December 11th. Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, let's get some more points, boys. Let's keep it going. But anything can happen. And especially in the Central, I mean, I'm going to be so honest with you. Central Division, yeah, it looks like the Wild and the Jets are going to be those two teams locked in. I still can't believe, by the way, the Wild have been playing this significant, but like they have been playing great. The Stars have 34 points. The Avs have 34 points. The Blues, us, we have 30. But Utah's right behind us with 29, and the Blackhawks and Preds both have 20. So if you want to get that third spot in the Central Division, you have to beat out the Avalanche and the Stars. That's why I'm saying at this point, wild card. I know I said that last season and that didn't happen. It almost did, though. We almost got the second wild card, but that's going to be the reality of it. I mean, the Avalanche, I could also see them because they made some moves and they got rid of some players that I thought were good. I mean, honestly, it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible. I mean, talking about teams where things are possible, we were dead last in the West. In January, we ended up winning the Stanley Cup. So, like, anything's possible. But for me, I would still say that second wild card is going to be how we get into the playoffs. So we have a game against a team that we beat in the playoffs, and that is the San Jose Sharks. So let's talk about it after I talk to you about PrizePicks. Today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks. If you love sports, you're going to love PrizePicks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Whether it's hockey, football, or any of your other favorite sports, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in on the action. Here's why you need to get started today. You can win up to 200 times your money on PrizePicks. Get $50 instantly when you place your first $5 lineup. No need to win. The 50 is guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers fun weekly promotions like Taco Tuesday, where select player projections are discounted up to 25%. This week on PrizePicks, I'm eyeing the hockey board, looking at Jack Hughes for more than 4 shots on goal and Panarin for more than 1 assist. It's so simple to make picks and have fun with friends while potentially cashing out fast. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly. PrizePicks, run your game. The Blues play the San Jose Sharks tomorrow. I know what you're thinking. Hand pass, hand pass, hand pass, hand pass. But in all seriousness, the Sharks, and we're going to dive more into this tomorrow because this is just a brief summary. San Jose, they have 25 points. The Ducks are below them with 24 points, which is kind of crazy to me. The last game they won was on December 3rd, which was an OT win against the Capitals. Now, the reason why I find that game astonishing is because the Capitals are one of the best teams in the NHL right now. They are the best team in the NHL right now, and as I'm recording at least. And the Sharks were able to beat them. Like, they do play good hockey at times. Like, there is no denying that whatsoever, okay? They lost 8-1 to the Lightning, 3-1 to the Panthers, 3-2 to the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes are not a bad team. So I'm just saying that it was a close game. Play us tomorrow, then they return home on Saturday. So they've been on the road for a little while. Besides their win in OT against the Capitals, they ended up beating the Seattle Kraken, both home and away. So one of those games where the Blues are going to have to bring it. San Jose is always a problem for St. Louis, and I am not denying that in any single way. I am accepting it at this point. I'm not trash talking. I'm not doing any of that, because the one thing that I learned about the San Jose Sharks is that they can play pretty good hockey. And you know how much that pains me to say, because they're the one team that I'm like so envious of with all their draft picks. And I'm like, but at the end of the day, I really do believe that the Blues can win this game. Definitely a winnable game, but the Blues are coming back from a road trip, but they did have a day like off in between. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, like, I don't want to be like that person that makes excuses, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I do see it too, where the Blues could just be a little bit worn out. But I don't know. All I know is that the San Jose Sharks, they play with grit. I'll give them that. They have energy, they have effort, and they certainly are bringing it. Now, the Sharks did trade, by the way, Mackenzie Blackwood, I do believe. That's what I think it was. Mackenzie Blackwood. I want to say, was it to the, what team? Yeah, the Avalanche. Yeah. So, as I said, definitely a lot going on in San Jose with trades and whatnot, them getting Avs players. It's a whole thing. But we'll see. Who was the one player that I really wanted from the draft? Hold on. NHL 2024 draft. I was at the draft in person covering it, obviously, for the Blues. And it was really cool. But it was Sam Benson, I think. No, it was Sam Dickinson. Sam Benson was last year. Oh my God. Yeah, it was Sam Dickinson of the London Knights, OHL. Oh my goodness. I was so mad. I obviously wanted him for us here, and San Jose, of course, got him. They have all these good prospects. Will Smith, Celebrini, like the list goes on and on. Like San Jose has good prospects. I'll give them that. So maybe there is a little bit of envy, but that's what it is. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.